Hello, Amoji, and welcome to Speaking of Everything. My guest is definitely not a stranger, and he's here back again. It's none other than Territorial Council member and leader of the whole party, Mr. Jules Charville. How are you doing, sir?
Thank you. I'm doing fine, thanks. Well, it's been a while. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I was thinking about you the other day, and your predictions are coming true in a way.
Yes. Where, as far as Air Antilles is concerned.
Yeah. You was like the first person to publicly say, look, this wasn't a good deal, right?
It wasn't a good deal. Actually, in November, the 24th of November 2024,
right.
Almost, it's 14 months now.
Yeah.
There was a whole page and Daily News reserved to my comments explaining why it was a bad deal and why it could not work and why the collectivity should try to get out of there, sell the shares, do something, at least try to save the taxpayers' money, because at that time, now it's more, it was some 17.5 million euros that have been invested. Actually, it's not even invested because that's what is said, but most of that money was borrowed, was considered as a loan or as loans to the company. And so once the company goes down, goes underwater, that money is lost. And today we are somewhere like 19 million euros that are going under the water. So taxpayers' money.
So then the collectivity will have to find that money.
Well, where? How? No, once it's gone, you know. And it's a pity because the whole thing took part in 2023, and some of the money in 2024. Recently in 2025, November, some extra money. But you know, the whole idea, the president had in his mind that the state of France would have given him back some of that money. And
he took that money from the budget from other things?
Absolutely, that's the bad thing about it.
And that's why my concern when I ask you that money is...
When, you know, the whole concept was introduced to him by two gentlemen. One was working for him and the collectivity. Another one came from France. And they presented the project to him way back in, I think that was in August 2023. And they kind of like presented it in such a nice way that he went for it. But when he presented to us in the council, we saw something that was dangerous, was very risky, and for that kind of money, with our opposition, we said, no, don't do it. And of course, today now, they realize that we were right. And unfortunately, we are borrowing the collectivity now because of that lack of funds, that hole in the budget. We are making loans to pay for projects or to pay, they call them again, contractors and etc. And whereas if we had that 20 million or 19 million, we wouldn't have to do that. So it is creating a huge problem for us. That money came from, for instance, the stadium in Sanagong. Money was allocated to that project in 2023. What you call the Omnisports in Gallias Bay, that building there, also money came from that. Came from the cultural center in Grand Cause, the cultural center in Sanagong, that today cannot be rebuilt. If you look at it, there's still 9 years almost after Irma, those structures are still there as if the hurricane was last week. You see, and so the scandalous aspect of it is that money was taken from projects that this country needs to put into an airline that was already bankrupt, that was attempting to come back, but because of the overhead, the deal that was offered, which is to take 120 employees, there was someone as president that was getting, his salary per month was 40,000 euros per month, while there was no revenues. So there were no revenues for 11 months, waiting for the license to fly, but you had all this overhead. Then there was a loan. Those aircrafts, 4 of them came with a loan of 21.5 million euros to be reimbursed at the rate of 200,000 euros per month. And all of that without revenues, knowing that in advance, you should not go into a deal like that. And they still went.
So the airline is finally dead now. As far as
okay. Exactly a week ago today, last week Thursday, the president of the board of Air Antilles, which is the president of the collectivité, went in front, his lawyers, in front of a business court, a judge, to declare bankruptcy in order to see if they would get bankruptcy protection. But the judge doesn't have to follow that. The judge can just decide, hey, this company is bankrupt, that's it, we're going to liquidate. So on February 2nd, which is next week, the judge is going to give his final decision concerning that. Now, if he doesn't declare it, if he doesn't say, okay, it has to be liquidated, they'll go into a system where they will nominate an administrator that will run the company, paid for by the company, with a lot of restrictions. And I don't know if they would have even the funds to allow that to happen. So I can't see how that airline can survive. I really can't see it. So we'll know exactly on the 2nd of February, yeah.
In case it just joins us, Merle Gibbs here with the leader of the Party of Hope. He is the council member, territorial council member for French Saint Martin, Mr. Jules Charville. He is in the minority in that council, along with Team Gibbs and the other.
Yeah, there are 2 factions in the minority. You have Team Gibbs.
Yeah.
So Mr. Daniel Gibbs is the leader of that team, and you have, we call ourselves, and there, the Generation Hope, 2 seats, and you have an independent member that used to be with Mr. Gibbs. So there is 4 members from Mr. Gibbs, 1 independent member, and then our 2. So that's it for that. It's 7 of us sitting in the minority seats.
So the 7 of you agree on this airline deal or disagree?
Oh no, all 7 voted against. Back again, it was in September 2023. We voted against. Now it happened, they kind of woke up late. It was November 30th of November 2025, when the president came to the council requesting that we requesting an approval for a loan of 3 million euros to the company, to Air Antilles, knowing full well that the company was already bankrupt, meaning no more money in the coffers. The director came to explain to us if they didn't get those 3 millions, weeks after they would have to call it quits. Yet, the president wanted the entire council to say yes to allow a loan to a company that is bankrupt. So some of them from his majority abstained, which was 5 of them, said, we're not saying yes or no, but we're not. And then 1 of them said no. So finally they woke up. It was kind of late, but they told him no. So, and he barely made it with 1 vote, because the person sitting in the seat of the president of the session, that person had the rights to 2 votes when it's tied, because it got 7-7, 5 abstention, 7-7, and when it's tied, the president of the session has the rights to vote again, and that's the vote that kind of like allow it to pass.
You know, you've been on this show, I think, like 2-3 times since this whole affair aired in Antilles, right?
Yes.
Speaking about
correct.
it. And they had I think the fourth vice president, Dr. Petty. He was here, and he just shut down everything you said.
I know, but they always do that. You see, I remember hearing the president, so I said in November 2024, Daily Herald published this article, interview with me. It was on the front page. And the next morning on the radio on the northern side, they asked the president, he said, I won't waste time and look at that or read that. It's nonsense. And today they all realize that what I was telling them then or explaining to the population, I was correct. Everything I said, everything I predicted. So yes, he did say that, but it's their role to, if what they consider to be opposition is just saying something. Like today, everything that goes wrong is because of the opposition. Antilles, they're saying, yeah, we didn't get cooperation from the opposition. It's the opposition fault. If something goes wrong with a project, it's the opposition, So it's easy to blame the opposition for everything, but sometimes it's good to keep the records.
Yeah.
So when just what was predicted happens, you can see. So there are videos, there are audios.
They can go to YouTube and see this show alone.
And those things. So sometimes too, and I remember a certain leader on a northern side that used to listen to the opposition. And when he would realize that they're right, he would say, okay, you know what? Let's put this aside, discuss it, put it for next time. That was wise. But to say that everything the opposition comes up with is wrong or is no good, no, sometimes it's good to listen.
Yeah, I also had President Mussington here too. After you had made those comments, also refuted that, said the airline is going to work.
Yeah. You see, they don't have an idea what is airline business. They announced it. We're going to put, at the time, it was 1.2 million euros in the capital. And then we have another 12 million to put, and that's it. We'll turn the key, and in 4 years, you'll see this thing will be so profitable. And that's how they sold it. And we kept telling them, it doesn't work like that. It does not work that way. The mistake also was for the collectivity to form a company in which they would have 60% shares. When you take 60% shares in a company, it means also you got 60% responsibility of the expenses. And when they call for money, you better have that 60%, your 60% ready. And already we didn't even have the money to put into it at the beginning. We had to take money from here, from there, projects that I explained. And they forgot that they will be calling for more money. And so when you got 60%, it represents a huge sum of money. And there's this entity that audits collectivities in general. And in their work, there's an audit that happens every 4 or 5 years. And their work, when they audited this administration, they realized that it is only the collectivity is taking care of 100% of the expenses. The other company that had the 40%
did contribute,
never came and invest any money as far as the expenses are concerned.
And you said that too on this show the last time you was here. You mentioned that.
Yeah, but that is it's a fact. It's been established, and this company been looking for a way out for a long time because they realize that since in 2024 that the company was in trouble. So that's why they refused to put any more money. And at a certain time in 2025, the board of directors of the company, Air Antilles, voted to replace them by another investor. That investor did promise or did engage himself, but at the end, I guess when he realized that the airline was in so much trouble, pulled out.
Well, in case you just joined us, I'm Earl Gibbs here and speaking of our thing with Territorial Council member, Mr. Jules Charville. You know, Mr. Charville, looking back, right? What if the president of French St. Martin Territorial Council had said, well, you know what, we will take the airline, but not the workers in Guadeloupe.
Yeah.
Was that possible, or was there a deal to take the workers in Guadeloupe, and that's why he took it?
Yeah, it was a package offered to them.
Okay.
But let me tell you what was the attraction, why it sounded attractive to them, based on what those two gentlemen that I explained that introduced the project to them. They sold it to them that way. Listen, yes, it's a lot of people, 120, but don't forget, you're going to make an offer of 400,000 euros, but you're going to get 4 aircrafts. And then, okay, but the deal, you have to take those 120 employees, but you're getting 4 aircrafts for only 400,000. And that sounded attractive. But when they got it, that's when they realized that, yes, the 4 aircrafts for 400,000, but there's an outstanding loan, a balance of 21.5 million euros.
They didn't do the due diligence?
Well, we saw it in the documents that they gave us, and we told them, hey, no, that's as if, you know, it's nothing. And we said, no, you have to pay 200,000 euros per month, you know, while you're not going to be having any revenues. How are you going to do that? And they still went ahead. It's a 400,000 for one of those gentlemen called me a day. I just came off an interview, one of those two. He said, yeah, you know, I didn't like how you explained, because can you imagine we got a company that worth 33 million euros and we got it for 400,000. I said, yeah, that's true. I said, what you not telling the people? What about the 21.5 million? You forgot that. And that's when he just hushed his mouth. He closed his mouth. It is important to understand that it is the deal. We were never against the creation of a St. Martin airline, okay? It was two different votes, 1 week apart. The first one was, do you agree for the creation of a concept of a St. Martin airline? We said yes. The next week, they came to say, okay, this is how it's going to be. And when we saw that, we saw the documents. They didn't want to give us the documents ahead of time, because they said that because in those documents was the offer made to the court. And they felt that maybe they give it to us, we would leak it to some competitors so they can see the price that they're offering to go now and put something lower or whatever. So they bought everything last minute. And it was done in a rush, but we had time enough to go through the documents quickly and realize that we shouldn't touch that. They went ahead, and today we have lost about 19 million euros. I considered the money to be lost. It's two options. Either you're going to go under what you call redressement judiciaire. It's a system where the court would nominate someone you under like higher supervision, but there are strict measures and you have to run the company in a certain way, etc., for a while, and then you are exempt from paying your debts for a certain time, but you need funds to be able to do those things, or liquidation. And even if they get rid of this much judiciaire, it will last for a very short time. It will eventually go to liquidation. So I consider that the money is lost. It's too late. The president is saying that he's looking for an investor. He's looking for an investor.
He's a very optimistic guy.
Oh, well, even if you got 10, 15, 20 million, dollars, euros. You're not going to put money into something that is already underwater. Contrary, you probably wait for the judge to decide liquidation, and then it goes for auction because it's already bankrupt. So I don't understand what he's talking about.
Well, I mean, look, as a politician, it's not your money. It's the territory, so
it's the
there's no
taxpayers'
but
money.
when you got a business,
Yeah.
a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
So no sensible business person is going to go into that arrangement at all.
And that's why he has about 9 months, more or less, saying, yeah, they have this investor, yeah, they have that investor. Then they had some Germans. And the reason why they got some of the members of the council to agree for a loan of 3 million back in November 2025 is because they said, give them 3 million euros that they can last up to January now, because they're negotiating with a German investor, and it is to finalize a negotiation. So they need like 3 more months. And so the 3 million, no, I don't think they got the entire 3 million. I think they got about 2 million. And by the time, because you had to give 1 million every month, and by the time they were ready for the 3rd million, you see, the planes were grounded. So I don't see any wise investor putting in money into that. So I consider the airline to be bankrupt, dead.
The last time I spoke with President Mussington, one of the claims he made is that the airline is essential to this island, because if you want to fly from here to Martinique, Guadeloupe, it will keep the cost down, which made sense. So now that the future of Antilles doesn't look bright at all, and we don't know what's going to happen on the 2nd of February, do you think that with only Air Carib flying between St. Martin, Guadeloupe, Martinique, we'll see the rates go up?
Listen, that was never a reason for the president to take up the taxpayers' money. Back then, 17.5 million, that's since the beginning, and just throw it in there because we need another airline. You talk to investors. The day that we created the idea, the concept of an airline, that was an opportunity given to us to go and talk to Winair. We sit down and talk to Winair. They're doing it in Martinique. They're creating an airline company with no planes. And Winair is flying for them. Martinique, Dominica, St. Martin, Dominica, Martinique. That's how they started. Maybe they're going, but in 2 years from now, they may have their first ATR. Air Antilles used to fly for Winair before they got even one ATR. They didn't have no ATR. They flew for them for quite a few years. And today they have, I think, 4 ATRs. So there was a wise way to do it, and you would still have another airline. Then, when that happened, that Air Carib remained by itself. Right away, Air France put a flight at Juliana, almost half the price, flying on a Airbus 320, taking you from Juliana to Pointe-à-Pitre, Guadeloupe. Then you had the possibility of another airline being created. Right now, there's the former owner of the old Air Antilles, the one that went bankrupt in 2023. He just created a next airline company, and that was just before this thing happened. So maybe he knew it was going to happen. And eventually, he's also going to have an airline flying between Guadeloupe, Martinique, St. Martin. So there will always be opportunities. There will always be another airline. We did not have to, because we were in that situation, government taking money that it needs, really needs, because there was no 17 million on our budget in 2023 allocated to an airline. That money was for other projects. Now you took that money, put it into the airline because we needed a next airline. No, you don't do that. That was a mistake.
There was a time when, in one day, you had 8 to 10 flights between St. Martin, Guadeloupe, and Martinique with 2 airlines. That ended in 2020 somewhere there, right?
In what year you said?
2020, that ended?
No.
It didn't slow during the pandemic after that? Or?
No, but today we still have that amount of flights.
Really? Yeah?
Yeah. Don't forget Air Antilles is owned by a super rich guy. And this guy owns Airbuses, that Airbus 350, 330 that does Paris.
Yeah, but I'm speaking about the flights, other Grand cars to Guadeloupe and Martinique. There was a time you had like 8 to 10 of them. Almost every hour there was a plane taking off.
Not every hour.
Hour and a half. But there were 2 planes coming in, Air Antilles and Air Caribbean,
right,
within 20 minutes of each other. And when you did the calculation, it was like 10 flights a day.
Yeah, but I'm saying that being replaced today, even before Air Antilles went under, Air Caribbean saw the need for more aircraft because of more flights. So today, we're not feeling that we are stranded because they have added more flights, because they have more aircraft.
Other Grand cars.
Yeah. Sometimes you go to Grand Cars, you will see 2 Air Caribbean sitting there. Then they take off, you'd see another one coming. So
then there's not really a problem.
Where the problem could be is with the price of the ticket. You know, when you just alone, you have no competition, and that's what we saw back in 2023 for a short time. Prices went way up. And that's why Air France put an aircraft here at Juliana, and the prices were very low, which obliged the other one in Grand Cars to go down. But I'm saying, if it's the case, if the judge on the 2nd of February will decide that that's it for Air Antilles, no problem. A next airline, I guarantee you, you will see a next airline.
Maybe that's the reason why your friend, the president, wanted to make sure that the prices stay down.
Yes, but if you have the money, it's good. You can do that. If you don't have the money, don't do it. Let private investors do it. You encourage, you sit down, you call in people. We have a lot of people here on this island with a lot of money. With a lot of money that can do that together. Which leads me to talk about another big mistake. Because these are mistakes, and I'm seeing another one.
Really?
The last council meeting in December was held on December 19th, 2025. And on the agenda was one of the points on the agenda was to buy the property, the Beaupertuis property that was going to be auctioned by lots. Actually, they have auctioned 2 lots way back in 2022, I think it was, or 23. And the president decided, you know what, he's going to make an offer to buy the entire lots. And the price that he negotiated was stopped at 38 million euros, right? Okay, we don't have the money. Should we go and buy something for which we don't have the money, for that kind of money, and we just lost 19 million euros? Right now, we like that because we have to borrow money to pay contractors that doing work. We have project that was already financed. We have to borrow money. And the 3 million I talk about in November, that came from a loan that was taken to pay for projects. So they took out 3 million that was not supposed to happen, but they did that. So not having the money, instead of saying, let us see how we can talk to some St. Martin investors, because we want to save this land to protect, as they're saying, protect this land for future St. Martin generations. The idea is good. Now, you don't have the money, so what he did, he brought in Saint-Samar. He brought in a company from Guadeloupe. Right. That it's a public company, but the way it was set up, it's called Établissement Foncier Public, EPF. Okay. Now that is exists. It exists in different collectivities. So it can exist here. So
this is the first time it's coming to St. Martin.
We were supposed to farm our own. Okay. But they said, no, it's going to take too much time and we don't have the money. this company has the money, so we're going to bring them in. And what they do is they usually buy properties for communes in Guadeloupe. It was set up for the communes in Guadeloupe. And the way that they're funded, each commune in Guadeloupe takes 20 euro per head per each person living in that commune, particular commune, pays per year 20 euro. And that's how they're funded. So the president, again, one of those gentlemen that introduced him to the airline, introduced him and got him to accept to become a member of that company. But we no more a commune of Guadeloupe. Since 2007, we have separated from Guadeloupe. We are on our own. But he managed to modify the certain codes here. They had to modify, and it happened. We became a member. So it means the population doesn't know that, but it means that per year, without feeling it, each person living on the northern side is paying 20 euro to finance this company. So he brought in...
Wait a minute. Repeat that again for me carefully. I want the people to understand what you're saying there, okay?
Yeah, because they don't know.
Yeah.
So, okay. Here you have a company that was set up to operate in Guadeloupe because Martinique has it, Guyana. So we, since we've been detached, we were supposed to have our own. They said, you know what? This gentleman advised the president, don't do that, just join them, and then you'll get them to finance, and they'll explain how that happens. So they did all, it took a few months, but it happened. We became a member. But by becoming a member, you also have to pay a fee, a yearly fee, to fund them.
Yeah.
So when you call on them, you're a member paying your fees. But that fee is equal to 20 euros per inhabitant. So every year we have to pay. The inhabitant over there, I think, is like 35,000 of us. Multiply by 20, is that what you're supposed to pay them?
Okay.
But when you call on, and what they do is if you don't have the money to buy a property,
they'll put up the money, right?
No, that wouldn't be bad. That would be like a bank. No. They come in, they buy the property for you, but they get a deed, they become the owner, and they hold it for you
until you could pay it off, right?
5 years, yes, but after 5 years, you pay them to get it, you buy it back from them because they're owners. It's the difference between financing and becoming an owner. So for the Beaupertuis property, the president negotiated something where it would be, instead of 5 years, 10 years.
Okay.
So 38 million, since somehow it's 22 lots, okay? Huge lots. Since somehow got 3 lots, and they paid 7 million euros, okay? The company from Guadeloupe, RPF, they got 13 lots. 13 lots. And when you look at it, it's the best lots.
And that's what the 38 million is?
No. You got 3 plus 13 is 16, and the collectivity got 6. Remember, it's 22. But the collectivity lots are financed by a bank. So the collectivity, what they presented to us, the collectivity name was nowhere there yet. Sensamar, RPF, buying 13 lots, but in their name, for the collectivity that eventually, if they have the money in 10 years, they'll buy back, because it's what we call portage. We're buying it in your name, holding it for you, and when you, after 10 years, you pay us back.
So what you're saying, look, I'm in business. I'm looking for a profit.
Right.
So this Guadeloupe company that's now the collectivity of St. Martin is a part of purchase the land, right? They have a 10-year period to pay. St. Martin have a 10-year period to pay them off for that. There's no interest, nothing like that. It's just
that's why they become a member. The way it's set up, you don't pay interest. But here is the thing. Here's the thing, Oral. When it came for the financing, because we became a member because they're supposed to have the money. When they come to buy something for us, they got to have the money.
Okay.
because that's what we're paying them for. And they are the communes. So that money is there for when and they always have money. Well, we found out that they're going to take a loan of 13 million to buy the land for us, and only during the council session, and it was the 19th of December, the lady was on the TV, we could see her on the TV from Guadeloupe by internet, and I asked her the question. I said, Madam, she's the head of that company. I said, but if we, collectivity, would like to develop this land before 10 years, would we be able to? She said, no. She said, you would have to buy back. If you need 3 lots out of the 13, you would have to pay us back first. Then
that's crazy.
Then we're going to give you a title, because they have a title. But we can do it from inside. We have our notaries, etc. But what amazed me is when I said, by the way, I understand that you're going to take a loan to buy this land.
Wow.
And that's what we need them for their money. They're going to buy. And I said, what's the rate? You're going to borrow money, you're going to have to pay interest. What's the interest rate? She couldn't answer me. It means what was hidden from us is that rate. We're not going to be paying back 13 million. You're going to be paying back 13 million plus the interest, plus the maintenance fee. They charge you a maintenance fee. And in 10 years from now, problem is, if in 10 years from now, the collectivity, whoever will be president then, if they keep it, because whoever becomes president next year, if it's not Mr. Mussington, that person can decide, this deal here, we're going to scrap that. We're going to pay them off, but we're going to do what we want, or we're just going to let them stay with the property. That's an option, because they have deeds. But if, for whatever reason, the collectivity cannot pay in 10 years, the land those lots remain in their hands. They remain ownership of those lots, and that's the risk. The thing is, why bring these people here? They don't have the money. Making a loan that you can make. Collectivity can borrow 13 million and pay your own interest.
You're bringing all that money already.
Saying they have the money. Yeah. They don't have the money. They're making a loan to buy for you. You show me the sense in that.
Look, I'm going to control myself here because this makes me very angry hearing it. Okay?
It
makes me very angry because I can't believe what I'm hearing.
That's what happened. And because we said no to it on the radio, the president is saying, he's upset with us because we said no to something like that. Who in their right mind would accept something like that? I'm bringing you because you're supposed to have the money. When you come to the table, you say, well, I don't have the money, I have to go to a bank, but I'm buying it for you anyway. But I'm borrowing the money. But I could borrow the money and have the title. I'm going to allow you to come with no money, go get a loan, and then give you the title. And then I still have to end up every year on the budget, since last year, even before the deal was signed, there's 1-point-something million euros allocated to the reimbursement of those 13 million. And of course, the council members did not know that these people didn't have the money. You see.
In case you've just joined us, I'm what you hear and speaking about on YouTube, Facebook, and on Hot 99.9 FM. In all my years in broadcast, I've never heard such cuckoo caca in my life. This is unbelievable. I'm sorry, Council Member Charville, but this I cannot believe if everything you said a while ago there is true.
It is true.
This is mismanagement to the maximum.
When we have council meeting, it is taped, it is videoed. Yeah. You can play it back, the audio too, and you will see that's what happened. You'll see my interaction with the lady, and because I knew these things, and I wanted those things. I wanted my colleagues from the majority to hear and to tell them, say, oh, we can't go for that. By the end, show of hands, and then not understanding, why are we doing this? Does it make sense to bring this company? Let me tell you, when we were introduced to this idea of becoming a member, who they are, I turned to them and said, we can create our own. Oh, we don't have the money for that. It's going to take time. They have the money. Now today we realize they don't have the money, but they have to take a loan.
But they had money for airline that went belly up.
Yeah, so the mistake is, first of all, we should have never become a member of something that was set up for Guadeloupe. We're not for the communes of Guadeloupe. We're not a commune of Guadeloupe anymore. Since now, 19 years ago, we became detached from Guadeloupe. But why go into something that it's like St. Martin want to go back to Curacao to become part of something that was set up for Curacao.
We're back in Curacao already too.
Don't tell me.
Yeah, that's the same thing. We have the same problem here, where every time they have an issue, we got to look and see how Curacao is doing. Or we got to bring supply from Curacao. It's the same thing here.
No.
That's why I'm saying to myself,
we're not going anywhere like that.
Yeah, we're going anywhere.
Yeah.
I have a show that's going to air soon. I had it with the union members that when you look at St. Martin, we have problems, but listen to what you described there. It's the same. We're going back to Curacao the same way the French are going back to Guadeloupe, and I can't believe it.
Yeah, and then next thing again, these people, this company, the president, based on the advice that he got from this gentleman that is no more there, but before he left, he put all these ideas in his head, and he bought them. This company has been given the power to expropriate our St. Martin people. The power to do preemption, which a collectivity should never ever give that to a third party. So today, there's St. Martin families that receiving letters from this company based in Guadeloupe, asking them about their property, and that they want to have an interview with them because the property is not theirs and it belongs to the collectivity. But it's not a collectivity that's sending them, but it's this same company that they're talking about. And they have given them that power. So, I mean, why did we get out of Guadeloupe? And we created something that's supposed to have the same role, called Agence Foncière, which is a real estate agency, and that is to solve the succession problem that we have on both sides, by the way, and also those persons that are living on piece of land for more than 30 years, they can finally get a title, etc. And the problems also with when it comes to you got a family of 15, and then just one disagree, so that the land stays there. Now there's a new law. You just need the 2/3 of that 15 to agree. So, but to solve all those problems, but just what that company that they brought here is doing, this agency can do it. So we don't need. We tried to tell them we just needed the creation of an agence foncière, and then you needed a company like Simsamar, which will deal with the financing, buying the land, developing land, etc. But our own, we did not need a PF.
How is the council made up in French-Samar? Are there some educated people there, business people? Because the south side, I think people say we have a deficiency in politicians in terms of their intellectual ability and education, etc. I tend to want to disagree with that. But when I hear what you're saying there and I look at what's happening on the Dutch side, there seems to be some truth to it.
I wouldn't go so far and say something like that. What I would tell you, though, what I see is the problem. It's not. We have quite some intellectual persons there in the council. The problem is, this cult in the person. It's like you believe in this person and you must follow this person. Doesn't matter what, even if you realize that what the decision that they're taking is wrong, but you have to go along. And that is what
intelligent people, educated, don't do that.
Well, I'm telling you, I see it happening to some people that I don't believe that would ever happen to them, but I see it happening to them. Some of them that are there that are not, you can't say they're not intelligent, but they follow. And amazingly, they do. Quietly on the side, I would say, but they still go ahead. Something like that, I don't think that should ever be able to pass in the council.
But that's why I made that statement.
It passed. The airline thing also, they saw the figures, they realized that, hey, this not adding up. Still went for it, knowing we're going to break our neck. They're in November gone. They realize the company is dead, but you're going to put, we told them 17 million is already gone. Don't put no money. Then we're going to have 19, 20 million, and then 10 days after, aircrafts grounded, and that was the 8th of December, right? And today we realize that they're into the court filing bankruptcy, and just last month, a month and a half ago, you voted to give them $3 million, knowing that they were bankrupt. The taxpayers' money, you're just playing with like that, wasting it. Yeah. That is crazy.
Now, I had Alan Richardson here, and he's CEO of Sensimar.
Yeah, he's the president of that.
He spoke about it. Spoke very well about it. Give a good background, Sensimar and everything else.
Oh, Sensimar is good. It's the idea, the concept of Sensimar way back.
St. Martin.
Yeah, and St. Martin, not in St. Martin and Guadeloupe. Actually, for a while, now they're having some. Surprisingly, financial difficulty. They
have a financial problem too?
Yeah. There were, I forgot how many millions in the red in 2024. Well, now we're going to see the financial statements are not ready yet for 2025. But the end of 2024, they were in the red. But it's a useful company, powerful company. It's the company that they created for the airline is a type of company like that, which is mixed funds, société d'économie mixed. You got the government should have no less than 50%. Their Sensimar is 51%, and the balance of the shares owned privately. The unfortunate thing with the airline is that they did not give the local investors an opportunity. The collectivity took 60% and give the 40% to one company, private company, instead of, even though they had a meeting with private investors, I was there, and I asked the question, what percentage of the shares you are offering to us? That question was never answered. We wanted to know that company that had a 40%, how much of that, what percentage of that 40% would they be willing to release to us? Never got an answer, you see. So I really feel that if we had private investors in there, things would be different. But the idea was the 60-40, the type of company for the airline was not supposed to be that, just a regular company, where the collectivity could have 10%, 5%, 15%, but the private sector would be dominant with people in the airline business.
That's how it will work.
You took a company that was bankrupt, an airline, and as president, you put in somebody that had no knowledge of airline business. He had, or still has, knowledge of airport business, which is a different thing. Running an airport, running an airline, is two different things. The director that they took has never ever managed an airline company, and an airline company that is trying to come back, that is struggling. You need the best of the best to bring it back or to run it, not taking somebody with no experience. And that was another mistake.
I want to jump back to Sensimar because I was under the impression that Sensimar was an idea that came out of St. Martin, and I asked Alan Richardson the question. He says, a gentleman by the name of Fisher was very instrumental in the beginning. Is that?
Yes, no, because at the beginning he was the director for a long time. He was the director, and I have to say that he did a great job. The concept was Mr. Louis Constant Fleming, Dr. Gibbs, Roger Petit, and I forgot, St. Martiners.
Okay. And
they have employed him as an expert or someone who they felt could have run the company. I just said you need people who know, and he was one, and he did a fantastic job.
So now it brings us back to what I was worried about earlier listening to you.
Yeah.
Simpson is something that we created that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And other areas in the Republic of France are now a part of Simpson, right? Shareholders in Simpson.
Not
Other
France.
yes,
Republic
of
There's
France.
an entity
Yeah.
from in Saint-Samar, besides two Saint Martiners now, we have the city of Basse-Terre, Guadeloupe, the city. You have the region, and you have also a bank that has a branch in real estate, but it belongs to the bank, CDC, Caisse de dépôt et consignation, that also has shares. So yes, it has changed, but why? Because some Saint Martiners have sold their shares, and that was wrong. To me, if you sell them to another Saint Martiner, but they sold them to these entities, and today, yes, you have a lot of entities and persons who are not from Saint Martin, but the good thing is they're not majority shareholders, they're just small shareholders.
So that's one good story coming out of St. Martin.
Yeah, we are in control. The board of directors, on the board of directors, the collectivity has a majority of seats. Thanks to the late Aline Henson, President Aline Henson, before her. Listen good, or before her. Even though we were 51% majority shareholder, on the board of directors, we were in minority.
Really?
So they used to vote things that we disagree with, but because we were, so she came in years after. She came in 2013. Yes, after Mr. Richardson went out, she took over. And first thing she said, we got to put a stop to this. We can't be majority shareholder, and then on board we are, which makes sense. I was wondering, well, why this went on for so long? And she changed it, and today we are majority, on the board of directors, we are majority.
Wow. Recently the president was questioned about certain financial issues. What's your take on all of that? I'm trying to be cautious how I...
Yeah, of course. No, you have to be. I'm going to go based on what he is saying publicly, okay? Because I find, that's my personal opinion, that he's taken a big risk because it's an ongoing investigation that can lead to a court case. And when it's like that, you stay quiet. But he is saying things, and I'm just telling you what I'm hearing from him. Based on what I'm hearing from him, he said that they are blaming him for employing young people. And only some of them are part of his family. But I know that based on the report I told you about a few minutes ago, that happens, this audit that happens 4 or 5 years, every 4 or 5 years, in that report, it is said that they're reproaching him for employing some family members. And then they went ahead to say, this is a dangerous thing and it's punishable based on this article and a penal code. So, listening to him, I said, no, it's not for employing people. It's mostly because of the family situation. Now he said that it is 4 members of the opposition that wrote a letter in 2023. Only now, today, the system decided to call him in based on that letter. That is.
Did you sign on that letter?
No. The 4 members that he's talking about belongs to the group of Mr. Gibbs. It's Mr. Gibbs and 3 others. He has 4 seats. Okay. It's his faction that signed this letter and sent it in. And he said it's based on that he was questioned. And he was held up for about 11 hours, I think, questioning. And he said they told him he can go home. And how he's speaking, for him it's over. No, it's the beginning of something. Now, it's either the prosecutor, after what you call a garde à vue, will look at things and say, well, you know, based on this interview, we won't do anything, so it's okay, just forget about it. Or, no, this thing has to go to court. So until that happens, stay quiet.
So how you feel about that as a leader of a party in the Territorial Council of St. Martin, seeing that investigation taking place? You think this should...
Well, it's not the first. We had many presidents that got questioned. You know, that doesn't mean to say you're guilty of anything. It is in court. You have to prove your innocency. No, I have nothing to say besides that no one should say that employing your family, mostly in your cabinet, is nothing. Whatever is illegal is illegal.
Yeah.
And then another thing I heard the president saying, again, he kept repeating it, that he told the prefect that he was going to employ, he was going to do it for social reason. He told even the president of France, and I understand it doesn't matter what you told them, but does that make it legal? What does the book say? If it says you shouldn't do this, you can tell whoever and still do it. You know it's wrong. So that there, I'm saying, no, if it's wrong, it's wrong. Not because you went and tell the prefect, I'll still do it.
Yeah.
It's like you're going on the road to kill a man and you're going to tell the gendarmes, hey, I'm going to kill this person. And oh yeah, I did tell the gendarme. Hey, does it make it legal?
Yeah.
You know, so.
That's your point. You have a few more minutes?
Yeah, sure.
You know, I want to ask you about this problem on French St. Martin that is constantly coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Young people taking to the streets, burning cars and tires in the street.
Yeah.
Mr. Charville, this can't continue. This is the state or the territorial council have to find a solution to this problem.
Yeah, I know it's not simple. It's not simple, and when it happens, it's spontaneous. You don't see it coming; it just happens.
But we are aware why it's been happening, basically.
Not every time. Every time is for a different reason. It just doesn't happen like they feel like doing it.
I understand, but there is. I know because I speak with people. There are some issues within that area of French St. Martin that needs to be resolved among, especially young people.
Yes. Okay.
I don't want to mention. I prefer you, as an elected person, share with us what you see as the problem, because there are problems. Yes, there are many problems, but that doesn't change the fact that there are problems there.
Okay. If you asking me that, what my first reaction would be, listen, if these young fellows are idle all day, all night, nothing to do, nothing for the only fun they have is to go take the motorbike, do the one wheel, or sit down on the block, and there's nothing. Even if some of them looking to work or they want to be trained, we don't have any schools like to say. Some of them want to do manual stuff, for let's say to train a mason, a plumber, a boat mechanic. Or so many boats here in the marina and French side, and so they need mechanics. The young guys, they want to do this, but there's nothing. There's nothing there for that, and they're not even thinking about setting things like that up. So I'm saying you start by doing that. You need to get him off the street, get him busy, give him a job. After the training, they get in the farmer.
You didn't say earlier that the president said he's doing that, giving them jobs?
No, that's a different kind of thing. That's, okay, listen, this family here, they got some young persons sitting down at home, okay. They need a job, so, okay, we'll just put them here. And no, I'm talking about the crowd, that crowd that you're talking about. It's not only in Senegal, we have it in French Quarter, we have, but the root of the problem, you have to go to the root of it. If they get busy, they become responsible, they form a family, they got a salary, and that's what needs to happen. firstly. Secondly, the security in Sanigong, for instance, in French Quarter. For some reason, the state feels that they would only come in when there's a problem. But you need the people that passing through Sanigong at night and so need to feel secure. And so there's not a system there to say, okay, we're going to begin to see how we can secure the area. While we are doing what I said there, you start to do that, but you also begin to make them feel, listen, things have to change here. There's a presence patrolling through the side streets in the night, and so just to calm down things a bit. I'm sure the presence of that, you're not there to oppress, but there's a presence that would make someone think twice. Like in the night, for instance, last night, again, it became so familiar that you don't worry with it. You hear on gunshots in Sanigong, and that's something common. There's no reaction, there's nobody, and they know it. But so I'm saying you need to start to change that.
So Charville, yeah.
But as far as what they do, how they do it, that happens because there's I would say a group of people looking out for situations, and when they see something not right or something happen to one of them, that's how they react. And that's what happened that day there, and that was totally wrong. And they said there's going to be an investigation. There's a young gentleman being beaten up by the authorities and being left to the side of the road, bleeding in a terrible condition, instead of calling an ambulance for him. And that's what got him mad. And so the prefect said, yes, maybe it didn't happen. So the procurator said, okay, we're going to investigate. But something like that happens, of course they're going to react, maybe in their way, but anybody would understand that's not right. So it doesn't happen every day, maybe not every year, but when something like that happens in Sanigong, expect that kind of reaction because it's not right.
But there's tension. There's tension, and the gendarmes are definitely these areas they don't want to go into.
No.
That's really necessary.
This situation in Sanigong there just a few days ago, it being resolved because there was negotiation, okay? And I think it was the right thing to do because you don't want confrontation. You don't want, I never saw so many gendarmes ready to intervene, a lot. I mean, from just before the bridge going down from Marigot, gendarme cars, if it didn't have like 30, 35 cars, it didn't have any. But the prefect, he acted wisely. He told himself if they go in there, they're armed too, those young guys. Gendarmes are armed, and you know what's going to happen. It happened a few years ago. Gendarme got shot. You see, you don't want that. So you try to negotiate. But when the negotiations are over, like now, this is where now you still continue to talk to them and see how we can avoid something like that happening again. But not only by promising and talking, by doing things. They need, if you sit down and talk with any one of them that sit on the block there, you'd realize that they want to work.
Yeah, most of them want to work.
They want to work.
Yeah,
but there's nothing there.
But they feel left out too.
Exactly.
They look at this island, they see all the prosperity, they see people come from all over, driving the fancy cars, doing what they... No problem with that because those people work hard for their money. But now you having these young people from Simran, born here, who are just on the roadside, watching everyone drive by with all the good things, and they can't even get a job.
Yeah.
You think I'm going to be happy if I put myself in that situation?
So that's part of a big part of the problem. And that has to be, they have to find a solution. And the solution is to open up places that can train these people, give them occupation. Listen, there's some young ones too that want to do sports. The stadium in Sanigong now for the past 9 years has never been rebuilt. the cultural center where you would have theater, you would have there was a movie hall there. They could go to the movies. For the past 9 years, non-existent. So supposed to be rebuilt, but when? I mean, okay, now we know it's money problem and so, but yeah, we need to do something.
Maybe that
for
would
the
have
young
been
people.
more of a priority than the airline.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And that's why we have to set our priorities and say, someone will always come. Most of you government are instrumental behind looking for investors, and you're busy with that too, or maybe not even investors, an existing airline and trying to get it there. Winair, bring Winair. Their aircrafts can land there. I mean, I'm just giving an example.
Right.
You could go somewhere else too, but we can always get another airline. Government didn't have to take up 19 million euros and take the risk knowing you need that money.
Yeah. It's so unfortunate that happened, and having you come here every year, speaking about that particular issue from the inception, it's amazing.
Yeah, because I knew from the beginning, most of us in minority seats, we knew that it was a bad deal, and we kept saying it, and that's why today I barely say anything, because the truth is there now. I say, oh yeah, he was right. Okay, well, too late now.
So you guys will be going to the polls what year?
In March, in about 13 months and a half.
March of 2027. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we don't have the date yet in March, but elections for the Territorial Council for President will be in the next 13 months. It went fast.
Yeah. How you feel?
Yeah.
Looking back now,
Yeah.
how do you feel? Because I know you and President Mussington was also good friends. Looking back at all of the things that had happened and back and forth, how you really feel about things now? Both on a personal level, in terms of your relationship with President Mussington and the island in general. Maybe I'm asking too much.
Yeah, no. I'll answer you with one word and I'll follow up. Disappointed. I'm very, very disappointed. Because I find that Mr. Louis Mussington has been aspiring for years to become, in those days, mayor. Now the title is president, to become that. And now that he's there for the past 4 years, his actions, his attitude, everything is disappointing. And I was looking for something totally different from his predecessor, and what I see is more of the same or even worse. And then I expect a better management of the taxpayers' money, and I see a lot of ways, not only the airline thing, I see a lot of ways, traveling like money can't finish, employing people. In a report from the company that did the audit, they brought that to his attention, say, hey, wait a minute, we saw the finances from 2022 going into a dive. Things like that, I promise, for instance, the first thing I expect is the modification of the organic law. He had a program on radio for years talking about that every week, and that would be the first thing he would do. 4 years after, nothing. And we need to modify the organic law in order for us to enjoy a better autonomy, a higher degree of autonomy. Nothing has been done where that is concerned. The reconstruction of our infrastructures, that was one of the reproaches that we give to Mr. Gibbs. For 5 years we said, what have you done? You haven't rebuilt this, rebuilt that. 4 years gone by, we're in the same situation. So it's that, and his way of dealing with the opposition. For someone who sat in opposition for so many years, and today he's looking at the opposition of something that should not exist, number one, and then never, everything that happens, everything that goes wrong with him is the opposition. and that the opposition is quiet. We try not to be on the radio too often. We don't say anything. We don't put anything in the newspapers just to give him a chance. But yet, he's the opposition. And he came from the opposition. The way he deals with the opposition in the council is wrong. So I'm disappointed for all those things that I thought would be different.
You know, when the oppressed become the oppressors, it's bad.
Yeah. That's
it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. You know, Mr. Charville, it's always a pleasure having you here. This is the longest interview I've ever done with you.
Really? I didn't see the time pass, maybe because
it's 10 minutes. I'll tell you how long it is.
Okay. But thank you for the opportunity. It was a pleasure to be here. I think we missed the interview by a month or two because I had to be it's once a year, 2025, but still. We'll consider that this is a combination 2025/26.
Right. We'll have you back again too. All right.
Okay.
Again, much success and thanks for being here and always sharing your opinions and everything with us. All right.
You're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. That's our territorial council member and leader of the Party of Hope, Mr. Jules Charville. On Speaking of Everything, I'll see you next time here on YouTube, Facebook, and on Hot 99.9 FM radio. Take care. Bye.